And in this episode of the Happy Hustle Podcast, we have on Kareen Walsh, who is a visionary business and people strategist. She's an entrepreneur that is helping other entrepreneurs as the ultimate business healer. And she can help heal your business. We're going to be diving into this episode of the Happy Hustle Podcast. Do you want blissful balance in your personal and professional life? Great. What's up, guys? My name is Carrie Jack, and I want to help you happy hustle a life you love, one full of passion, purpose, and positive impact. I'm a lifestyle entrepreneur, a professional model / actor, a digital marketing specialist, a podcast host, author, a biohacker, an eco-warrior, a martial artist, a hippie cowboy, and a humanitarian. My goal is to educate, inspire, and entertain you to live a life of passion, purpose, and positive impact. It is time to happy hustle your dream reality. Yee-yee. All right, Kareen Walsh, welcome to the Happy Hustle Podcast, my friend. I am super excited to rock the mic with you.
Me too, Carrie. Me too. This is so much fun. We could talk about so many things, but I'm excited to have this time with you and really serve your audience. That's what I'm all about.
Yeah, I mean, you are a happy hustler, that's for sure. You're a visionary business and people strategist. You're an author, podcaster, investor, 7-figure business building entrepreneur, and you're the ultimate business healer, which this is a topic I'm really interested in because I know a lot of the happy hustlers out there who have businesses or want to start businesses. They make some of the same common mistakes that I've made, and I know that you've seen and probably made yourself. And healing your business oftentimes is very difficult, but it's people like you that come in and can see with a different perspective and really shortcut our success. And that's really what I'm excited to talk to you today about, how we can heal our businesses, how we can, practice holistic work-life integration. I know we're talking about the 4 strategic steps to take aligned action. So much good stuff. But before we get into all that good stuff, Kareen, what is something interesting about yourself that not too many people know?
I would say, because this question is so fun, my life is so vast and my business herstory is so vast too. But I would say probably something that most people don't know about me is I've moved across this country in my adult life. So by choice, right? It wasn't like the family was doing it and I went along with it. I think over 13 different times.
Whoa.
Yeah. So that's definitely something most people don't know unless you've been one of my longstanding friends and been through it with me,
Yeah, geez. That is, that's impressive. 13 times. I mean, yeah. And where are you based now?
So now I'm based on the East Coast outside New York. In the first town you come in up the East Coast into Connecticut. So that's where I'm based. But generally it's the New York metro area is what they consider it.
Very cool. Yeah, I lived in Sunnyside, Queens, New York. That's actually where I burnt out as an entrepreneur. My first legit burnout and my last, because I found a better way. The happy hustle is the way, right? And I know you burnt out yourself and you have an interesting story. I want to get into some of your story, but more so I want to start things off with just a real bang. And I want to talk about the 4 strategic steps to take aligned action, because I think when I was burned out, when I was hustling but not happy, I was not aligned. I was focused on profit, success, ego, status, all these key drivers that society deems important, right? But I wasn't really aligned with my ultimate, true self and what I really wanted to be doing in the world. Talk to us a little bit about, 1, how you were misaligned and burnt out yourself, and then 2, segueing into these aligned action steps that we can take.
I mean, it's a great question, because when you think about holistic, right? And I wish there was a W in front of it, because it's really about being whole in everything that you do. Unfortunately, we are still maturing in our earlier years as to figure out who the heck we are, right? So burnout is quite often possible because there is this push for something you don't really understand yet, what it will actually feel like on the other side. And I think what we're not taught enough, especially in entrepreneurship, is to assess the track we are on and see if what we had visualized, what we truly desired, is still a fit for who we are right now. Because I'm sure, Carrie, you can come with many moments where there were whispers in your ear during that time. Be like, dude, do you really want to go down that path? Like, are you sure you want to go do that and not take care of yourself in this moment? Or you'd start to see fractures in your body even of things showing up where your health gets challenged because you're trying to go after some real financial gain when really you are quite stable and you can actually do a lot with what you've earned. So why I focus on strategic alignment with the entrepreneurs that I work with is that when we are leading our business, if we are not first aligning ourselves from the inside out, it will definitely show up externally in all that we do. And when you take a moment of assessing, which is what this tool is, it's an assessment tool to say, the 4 steps are, number 1, to ask yourself, what's really going well? Because the other thing about us entrepreneurs is we don't know how to celebrate. We don't know how to hit a number and be like, oh yeah, I got it. That's it. No, it's like you hit it. What's next? Like you're always focused on the what's next. Well, if you don't sit in celebration, especially with your teams, the people you bring together, and I know your audience is in that cusp of like, how do I scale past myself, or I'm getting started and I don't even know where to start, and who do I trust to start with, and all of that piece. Celebration with whoever you do bring together is so critical to first ask that question, because sometimes, and I found this as a misstep for some entrepreneurs, it's like, based on what we're celebrating, we do really well. What if we just master this? And what if we just focused here for the next year, like challenged ourselves to be like, can we be the best at this one thing versus adding another thing and adding another thing? And then you're now creating a diluted response versus a highly focused one where you're knocking it out of the park for a bunch of people versus all these separate things for many, right? So that first question is really key to ask yourself, because it'll give you an awakening of what's going well, what you need to reinvest in, but also making sure your team has moments of this celebration, like, look how far we've come.
Yeah.
The second question to ask, or the second step, is asking, well, what's not going well? So a lot of the times we skip over that. Yeah, I'll get to it. Oh, we're like bleeding money over here with this service that really isn't giving us a return on like why we chose them to help us operate better. But oh yeah, we'll get to it because we're going to focus on this shiny coin instead. Like, if you don't look at the things that are not working, you cannot optimize your performance against the things they are. They will always be a siphoning, measure on your business. So asking yourself as a group, or even as an individual, as a leader, like, what's not going well, right? And you're listing out those things, like what's not working. And then it's what do we need to, the other way you can ask that question is, what do we need to stop doing? Right. So when you identify the things that are not working, it also gives you the stop list, because if you can take that time and assess it in that moment, together with your team or individually, then you're like, oh, okay. So as an entrepreneur, when I'm running my business, I should stop maintaining my own website so I could go sell. Right? Maybe exactly. Maybe it's like, I should stop doing the contracting and invoicing because that's just business admin, so I can go create. Like, asking yourself what to stop doing is so critical, and we don't do it enough because we sometimes get caught in the trap, well, I should, and you start shoulding all over yourself versus knowing, actually, this is not a fit for me. And the stop doing doesn't mean it has to stop for all things. It might be, if you're doing the check-in for yourself individually, it's like what you yourself as the leader need to stop doing so that you could delegate or empower your team to do it.
Yeah.
Too. And then the third question is, what do you need to start doing? So based on the ultimate goal, based on that vision that you had, based on what you've been celebrating, what you think you need to stop doing, what do you need to start doing? And that's the moment for creative vision, right? Like, that's the moment of evolution. It's the way to say the what next without being so invasive of abandoning everything for what's next. It's the, what do we need to start doing to continue on this path, right? Unless one of the stop things that came up was, let's just and this is time for an exit, but what do you need to start doing is a legit question to ask. And then the fourth step is really putting the actions together based on your self-assessment, this retrospective that you just did on how you've been performing as a company, as a leader. You could do this exercise individually. You could do it with your team. It is in my Lead with Value book. I also have it as a downloadable exercise you can grab. It's just kareenwalsh.com/retrospective. But truly, it helps you step into aligned action because now you actually put a pause on the doing.
Yep.
And you kind of check to see, well, where are you on the map?
I love that. I mean, recap those 4 questions just for everyone in a very succinct manner. And guys, this is huge right here. You have to take stock of where you were in the past so you can make pivots and adjustments so you can go where you'd like to go in the future. And I don't think enough people do it. So hit us with those 4 succinct questions, please.
Yeah, super easy. You can even grab a piece of paper and put like a 4-quadrant grid there. And then the top left, you're going to write down what is going really well. What do we want to celebrate? What's going really well? And you make that list and make sure you do not skip over that question. A lot of people do not skip that question. You have to anchor in what's going well. The second question, bottom left quadrant, is what do you need to stop doing? What's not working? What do you need to stop doing? And you can even put a little stop sign there. So the top one could be a little smiley face. The bottom one could be a stop sign. The third is what do you need to start doing? What do we need to start doing that's going to get us even further on this path? So that's a plus sign. And then the bottom right quadrant would be now what are our top 3 actions? And do not go more than 3.
Yeah.
It's really key. And give yourself a by when date. So the container is important too, because you're going to want to check on this every 30 days. That's what I recommend for most entrepreneurs is to do this at least every 30 days. It's really helpful.
Nailed it. See, that's why I love talking to people like Kareen because, and just to give you a little insight, Kareen, this is something I do with my marriage too. So every Sunday I ask my wife, what should I start doing, stop doing, and keep doing? And she has the same. And like, this is just we call it bear talks, but like that type of retrospective learning allows us to pivot in the future and make better choices and just have a stronger relationship. It also works for your business with your team. And it's just one of those things that I highly recommend everyone actually do. So really great stuff here. Yeah. Now, I do want to kind of segue into the action steps forward because like this is where I think maybe people get hung up. How do you know like what are the action steps forward? And I know it's different for each person, but like you know, how would you recommend deciphering?
So, sometimes if you're truly sitting in unknown energy, like you don't maybe yet have the right team, you haven't even, put it out there yet. It's sometimes those actions are research. Like sometimes the first actions are, what do I need to know that I don't know? And I think that's the step that we forget is that as entrepreneurs, we are curious people. Yes, we want to put great things out into the world, but it's actually curiosity that's the fuel that gets us to create and put these amazing things out into the world and want to serve and want to connect and come up with new creative things. So, I think that's number one is just check yourself and say, do I need to be educated in this area? And let education potentially be that first step. Now, for some, it could just be as simple as who do I need to engage with that's a master at this thing that I need to take action with, like you and I hold containers for people to really unravel as well as discover like what to do next. We have a list of networked people that we can bring in, or we can, because of our own curiosity, we're able to then serve in that way too. So I always recommend not to be shy from investing in the expertise if you don't know. Like, you kind of want to move in that direction, but then maybe that next action is to actually go invest in somebody to help you get there.
Whoa. Apologies for interrupting your programming, but I have to tell you, the best investment you can make in yourself is one in which helps you acquire skills. You've probably heard people talk about oh, just invest in yourself and you'll be successful. Yes, that's true to a degree, but you have to invest in skills that will ultimately help you achieve your desired results. And I think one of the best skills one can possess, be it an entrepreneur or an aspiring entrepreneur, is the sales sword. Really knowing how to sell, utilizing pressure-free persuasion, which will make you more money and more impact. Now, if you want to know how to sell more efficiently and effectively, I just launched a sales course called The Proven Roadmap Process to Selling Millions of Dollars and helping you to increase your conversions, guaranteed. And you can get access to this new sales course that The Happy Hustle is launching at thehappyhustle.com/sales. And if you act fast, you'll get it at the lowest price it'll ever be available, because we are launching it and we want to gain amazing testimonials and social proof to further share this knowledge. So if you act fast, you can get it at the lowest price it'll ever be. That's at thehappyhustle.com/sales. Now let's get back to this episode. That's why it's so important to do proper research and invest in yourself. I always say, like, you are your best investment. I know it's cliche as all get out, like, but it's a cliche for a reason, right? And that's what Kareen's talking about. You got to really invest in yourself and skills, because I heard someone say this: skills pay the bills, but you got to take it a step further. Applied skills pay the bills, right? You have to make sure that you are investing in skills. And I always like to put, like, when I invest in myself, through this filter: would I actually trade places with this person personally and professionally? Because there's a lot of people who have, just a terrible life outside of their business. Their marriage is falling apart. Their kids don't know them. They don't know God or any type of higher power. And it's just like, that's not who I want to learn from. So I always want to, just add that caveat when you are invested in yourself. And I know you're aligned to that sense too, right?
Oh yeah. Majority of my journey has been investing in the experts ahead of me, or that I'm inspired by, to learn something better about myself. And then I find that when you actually work on that self-mastery of self-identification and who am I in this world and all those big questions, that is what then breeds leadership. Because what ends the thought leadership, like you're doing through the show, you do through your platform. Same for me. Like, there's this amazing thing that occurs when you have overcome something and figured it out for yourself. Then you want to step into leadership and help others do the same. Right. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the beauty of the cycle of investing in those who become before you, because eventually that's going to be you that people are investing in, because you've now gone before them. Right? It has an amazing ripple effect.
Yeah. Amen. I love that. Well, one thing I was really excited to talk to you about, Kareen, is your concept of holistic work-life integration. And I personally am not a big fan of the term work-life balance, although I built the whole business around solving this imbalance problem. Yeah. But if you actually think about the term, like, work is a part of life, it doesn't really make sense, because life is happening during work. So that's why that term doesn't really make that much sense. But I do like the holistic approach to integrating personal and professional endeavors. Talk to us a little bit about your philosophy here.
Yeah, I think it's part of it came out of the entrepreneurial dilemma of why isn't this performing the way I want it to, right? When you're putting the me in it as an entrepreneur, well, it could be that you forgot who you actually were for this end cause, right? For this deliverable, for the doing. So the inner work is actually what's needed in order to get the external business to show up in what you want it to become. And I think that's where the word integration was always very important to me, because I had to integrate all of who I am into everything I do in order to feel aligned in my life. When I was not integrating it and I just saw the career climb or the achievement was my measure of success, when looking at myself, I was unhealthy. I had the worst relationships. I basically was making self-sabotage decisions almost every day. But then from the outside, in, like others perceiving me as this success story. That to me is the recipe of a hot mess, like it's not sustainable, right? Like it will break, and it did break. It broke down in my health. It broke down in relationships. And yes, maybe I could say I had these accolades, but if I'm, feeling so disconnected from the work, right? Because the work is just definition of doing, right? We're all going to show up and do. That's what the beauty of what life gives us, a pumping heart, so we can go and like do things, how we choose to direct it. I like to use the measurement of fulfillment, over achievement, and achievement will come in measured form, like your money in the bank and the glorious life you live and the things that you want to resemble around you, the earnings or the type of lifestyle or the adventures you want to go on. But I would say reverse it and start there in the vision. It's like, how do you actually want to live your life? And then how does work fit into that? How does the earning potential? And it doesn't show up as work anymore, especially as an entrepreneur. You're learning mechanisms of how to earn without you having to do all the work, right? So that's another form of entrepreneurial integrative living that I think a lot of people feel challenged by, because they're old models that you want to step into. The work to earn model is not a fit for an entrepreneur. If you're trying to build sustainable lifestyle and the wealth that you're working so hard for.
Yeah, that is very well said. And it's a conscious choice I made on my entrepreneurial journey after burning out. Like, I wanted to become a lifestyle entrepreneur. Like that was my whole goal was achieving the three freedoms, financial freedom, creative freedom, and time freedom. And I was like, how can I create freedom in these three forms and still have impact and income? And I think for everyone out there listening, it's going to look different for you, for me, for Kareen, but you have to define what that lifestyle is that you desire, or else you will just succumb to someone else's version of success, quote unquote, or whatever that is, in terms of the corporate ladder you're climbing or the business you're building, whatever, story gets written for you rather than you writing your own. And you have to be conscious. I really think the word that you said, fulfillment over achievement, that phrase, that really hits me, because, we all want to achieve, right? Progress is a form of happiness.
We're made to achieve.
Exactly.
We're conditioned to achieve.
Yes.
Like that is the American way.
Yeah.
So it's part of our nature. Yeah.
Yeah. No, you're so right. And it's just, I think Tony Robbins says it, and I know you're a fan of Tony and went through some of his programs as well. He says success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure, and that fulfillment piece to the puzzle is something I think a lot of people struggle with, and they just don't know. And I think it's because they don't pick a problem that they're actually passionate about. And I know passion, again, cliche buzzword, but it really is something that pisses you off, or that gets you, really emotionally engaged. Think about what that problem is for you, and look at your current life and what you're doing for work right now. And if it's not lighting up your soul, well, then make a pivot. And I want to get into, for you, when you are making those pivots, and let's say you are going on that entrepreneurial journey, I know you are the business healer, and I want to actually get some healing wisdom for the happy hustlers out there to leverage. What are some of those big mistakes that you see, especially diving into entrepreneurship, and then maybe after you make some money and you're starting to grow and scale, and maybe not trading time for money as much, but creating a little bit of systems? What are some of those mistakes that you see? If you could maybe give us the key three, that would be fantastic.
Sure. Yeah. So when we become masters at listening to the signals right? So when you think about healing in the body, right? Because generally healing is a word used towards a physical like ailment, or like there's something that is wounded. I found that in my own journey of healing my own wounds, and we're all on, trauma healing these days, because everyone, if you're kidding yourself if you didn't think you went through some sort of trauma experience, and if that you did not in the last 3 years, right? Because everybody was traumatized in some way, shape, or form, no matter what level of success. My business doubled during those years, so I was highly successful. However, there were health things going on for me and also just seeing what was going around me was still very traumatic, right? So in the healing, it's why I use the business healer type language, is that our businesses need healing also, because we also need to listen to the signals. And sometimes we are slow to do that with ourselves physically. As entrepreneurs, we are slow to do that in our business. And what do signals look like? So people can understand. For business signals, it's the, if you're showing up to leading your business with a ton of resentment around your business, that is a signal to put a pause and assess and use that retrospective exercise. Like that retrospective exercise actually helps with healing faster, just like you're doing it with your wife every week, to make sure you are facing, if there's anything, you're facing it and you're finding solutions for it to move forward. Having that in your business is really key. So signal around where to pause. Like if so resentment is an energy that can show up big time. That's why you have those mass exoduses happening in businesses, large scalable ones. You'll have it in the failure rate of startups, because they were sitting in resentment against who they were taking money from, because now that money had demand on them, and they had to show up a certain way that wasn't authentic to themselves. But did they face it? No, because of the fear of losing that money or the fear of failing at that business. So fear is the second one. If you're sitting in a lot of fear, stepping into launching your business, putting yourself out there, being the Pied Piper of your business, something is misaligned in the value system of your business. Because if you're aligned with your values in your business, if you're aligned with the values of the systems you build within your business, the people systems, the tech systems, the relational systems with your clients, then you are also in need of a pause. That's a huge signal, sitting in a lot of fear, right? And I'd say the third signal is when I don't believe you have to lose sleep over your business. I don't. I think you could be excited by your business. That might keep you up at night because you are so excited to show up in it. So you maybe sleep less. But if it's keeping you up at night in a stressed way because you don't know how to solve for it, that's a signal that you need outside help to come in and support you, because you are in uncharted territories that next decision you make requires a higher level than what you are able to do on your own. So I think that's another signal too. But listening to the signals is how we heal in trauma for ourselves as well. If we don't listen to ourselves, we're not going to get the professional help we need. It's the same for business.
Yeah. Yeah, those are great. I mean, resentment definitely is a signal. If you are feeling any type of resentment with your job or your business, like take a pause, go through that retrospective exercise. Also, like you mentioned the money and how if you accept it, it will have demand over you. That is something that I know I made a mistake. I took money from clients and people that I know I could help, but I didn't want to help. Like deep down, I didn't really want to help them. Like in the sense that I knew there was perfect target avatars out there who I did feel aligned to serve. They weren't them. They were a pain in my butt, and that's oftentimes what happens when you sell the wrong people. So that's really a great point there. And I want to help everyone, let me be clear, but like there's priority of people who really should, you should be helping. And then the people who maybe get less of you or your more scalable content or things that aren't your direct time. And then you mentioned don't lose sleep. That's huge when it comes to like actually just a really great sign of, well, something must be off here if it's causing you that much stress and anxiety, and that often is the path to burnout. So I'll tell you, you want to really, again, assess. So those are fantastic. I mean, I know people are probably like, all right, Kareen knows what she's talking about. I need to dive deeper into her work and get your book potentially. Where can people go to learn more about you? And I know you have a really cool program called Hey Kareen. So why don't you just talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I just launched Hey Kareen, which is like your Hey Siri or your Hey Alexa for business, where you actually get access to me. I am literally answering every single question that comes in. The group answers each other as well for support. It's via Voxer because I felt like I want, my whole mission is to walk alongside you and help you remove excuses. Right? Because there is a solution, yes, for everything. It's a matter of what do you want to face it? Do you want to actually face that thing and solve it and move on? So I found that Hey Kareen was a way to do it in action with groups. So that's the new platform that I just launched this year. And it's a lot of fun cool. In that I get all the how do I questions, just like, your audience has, where it's like, how do I hire the next right person? How do I know that this partnership is the right partnership for me? Hey, Kareen, how do I, and so I was like, all right, y'all, like, let's just put you all in one place and let me serve you that way. Yeah. So that's been really cool. And then for all the other Kareen stuff, you just can go to kareenwalsh.com/links. I have LINKS. I have so many workbooks you can start out with, like for your personal journey. My Be a Badass book was literally my self development journey. So I stuck that in a book because these are the exercises I use and leverage. And so it has 6 tools to up-level your life in my Be a Badass book, which you have the link to grab your copy of that. And then my Lead with Value book was, again, like, as I said, self-mastery leads to leadership mastery. Like, if you are going to be an entrepreneur, you need to master leading. If you really want to grow and scale your business. If you just want to be self-employed, totally valuable. Like, the market needs you too, but just don't put too much pressure on yourself to be more than that if that's what you want to be. If you truly want to be an entrepreneur, you need to learn how to lead. So Lead with Value, or the core tools, tips, and exercises you yourself can use in your business, but also for you to step up in how you lead your business based on the values you bring to the table and those you want to build around you. So that's on that site as well if you want to grab your copy.
Yeah, love it. So Kareen, KareenWalsh.com, and then /links. And then you can also go to HeyKareen.com. Check all that stuff out, guys. Kareen, I want to maximize time. I know we're short on it right now, but I always like to ask my guests happy hustle hacks in 3 disciplines. First being health. Do you have something unique, maybe a tip, a tool, a tactic in this arena that you could share with the happy hustlers?
Yeah. So if you don't have a forgiveness practice, you need one. So that's my hack on health, because I didn't really get to face myself until I actually learned how to forgive, like in the energy of all the things I do. Yeah. So building a forgiveness practice, I think, is really important for your health.
Oh, that's great. What about money? Do you have a happy hustle hack when it comes to money, maybe to save, invest, spend? Why is there something that you do that maybe is a little unique?
In the money side, it's really about your mindset that you are worthy. Your self-worth reflects your net worth. So if you're feeling depleted financially, go check yourself. Like, that's how the money hack for me always worked. Because as soon as I started to face the things in me and my own money mindset, that's when the abundance started to flow my way. So that would be my hack on the money mindset side.
I love it. Yeah, mindset is imperative, and also that, like, getting what you're worth and validating it through the marketplace. That's huge. But again, a lot of people, they kind of hold themselves back by not charging enough or not even having the confidence to put themselves out there. So yeah, that's a really great one. What about spirituality? Do you have a happy hustle hack here, a way maybe to connect to a higher power?
Yeah. So spiritually, like, my, I would say discipline is the way to really stay connected spiritually. And what I mean by that is we are all gifts here. So if we don't appreciate the gift that we are and loving ourselves and connecting to our higher power, it is, that's when you're truly wasting what's been gifted to you. So I'm very disciplined about my daily rituals in that connected space. It has, it's my fuel. So
love it.
That is really part of a healthy integrated journey, I think.
Yeah, very much agree. Discipline equals freedom, right? As Jocko Willink says, and I think it's discipline in all facets of life. Now, Kareen, I do want to put you through the rapid fire round quickly, and then we'll wrap this interview up. So this is where I ask you random things, and you just answer honestly. First thing that comes to mind. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Favorite food? Go.
Oh my God. Pasta. That's a hard choice.
Favorite movie?
Ooh. Oh God. Rapid. So much pressure. Favorite movie? Hard
first
one,
thing,
man.
First thing that came to mind.
I love all the Marvel movies.
Okay.
I would say the Marvel movies because I was just listening to John Favreau interview. So.
Oh, he's great. Favorite book?
Yeah. Right now I'm reading Lewis Howes' The Greatest Mindset, and it's becoming one of my favorites. I'm really loving how he's framing everything.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I got that book. I know Lewis. It seems like a great read. I haven't read it yet, but what's your spirit animal?
You're gonna love it, Carrie.
Yeah.
My spirit animal is. It used to be a koala, but now it's turning into a hawk.
Oh, there we go. Best business advice.
Yeah. Don't let the limitations of others become your own.
3 things you're most grateful for.
I'm grateful for my health. I'm grateful for having an open mind. And I'm definitely grateful for all my clients who have trusted in me throughout time. I'm so grateful for them.
Love that. And if you had a billboard for the world to see with your last piece of content on it, what's that billboard read?
You don't know until you try.
Oh, crush that rapid fire round. Kareen, I want to take a moment to acknowledge you. Thank you so much for sharing your love, your light, your wisdom, your business healing with us, Happy Hustlers. And I just am so grateful for you and looking forward to many collaborations to come in the future. So thank you.
So many, Carrie, and thank you so much for having me on the Happy Hustle. I'm honored.
Thank you. Well, last question. What does happy hustling mean to you?
Happy hustling means that I am aligned within myself on every step I take in my hustle. Like it truly is feeling grounded and curious and know that I am capable.
Mic drop. Kareen Walsh, y'all. Thank you so much for watching and listening. We are out. Peace and love, everyone.